Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. We are in TryHackMe. This is SOC Level 1. This is the Cyber Defense Frameworks module. This is the MITRE room. This room will discuss the various resources MITRE has made available for the cybersecurity community. Hopefully you all have an awesome day today and ready to learn something. Now, let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1, Introduction to MITRE. For those that are new to the cybersecurity field, you probably never heard of MITRE. Those of us that have been around might only associate MITRE with CVEs, which stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures List, which is one resource you'll probably check when searching for an exploit for a given vulnerability. But MITRE researches in many areas outside of cybersecurity for the safety, stability, and well-being of our nation. These areas include artificial intelligence, health, informatics, space security, to name a few. From MITRE.org, at MITRE, we solve problems for a safer world through our federally funded R&D centers and public-private partnerships. We work across government to tackle challenges to the safety, stability, and well-being of our nation. In this room, we will focus on other projects / research that the US-based nonprofit MITRE Corporation has created for the cybersecurity community, specifically ATTACK, which stands for Adversarial Tactics, Techniques, and Common Knowledge Framework. CAR, Cyber Analytics Repository, Knowledge Base. Engage, sorry, not a fancy acronym. Defend, Detection, Denial, and Disruption Framework, Empowering Network Defense. AEP, Attack, Emulation, and Plans. Let's dive in, shall we? The room was last updated July 1st, 2022, so we've read everything here. Task number 2, I'm going to talk about the basic terminology. Before diving in, let's briefly discuss a few terms that you will often hear when dealing with the framework, threat intelligence, etc. APT is an acronym for Advanced Persistent Threat. This can be considered a team or group, threat group, or even country, nation state group that engages in long-term attacks against organizations and or countries. The term advanced can be misleading as it will tend to cause us to believe that each APT group all have some super weapon. Examples will be a zero-day exploit that they use. That is not the case, as we will see a bit later. The techniques these APT groups use are quite common and can be detected with the right implementation in place. You can view FireEye's current list of APT groups here, so check that out if you're interested. TTP is an acronym that stands for Tactics, Techniques, and Procedures. But what does each of these terms mean? Tactic is the adversary's goal or objective. Technique is how the adversary achieves the goal or objective, and procedure is how the technique is executed. If that is not clear now, don't worry. Hopefully, as you progress through each section, TTPs will make more sense. That's right, I'm sure they'll go over it, but a lot of these APT groups will use the same TTPs, and sometimes they will just adjust the TTPs to fit their own objectives, attacks, etc., what have you, okay? Like password spraying, credential stuffing attacks, stuff like that. A lot of APT groups will use that. Why do you need a fancy zero day when you can just log in using somebody's password that's been involved in like a data breach or a commonly used or weak password you can just use, right? Anyway, task number 3, attack framework. What is the attack framework? According to the website, MITRE ATT&CK is a globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on real-world observations. 2013, MITRE began to address the need to record and document common TTPs that APT groups used against enterprise Windows networks. This started with an internal project known as FMX, which was Fort Meade Experiment. Within this project, selected security professionals were tasked to emulate adversarial TTPs against a network, and data was collected from the attacks on this network. The gathered data helped construct the beginning pieces of what we know today as attack framework. The attack framework has grown and expanded throughout the years. One notable expansion was the framework focused solely on Windows platform, but has expanded to cover other platforms such as macOS and Linux. The framework is heavily contributed to by many sources, such as security researchers and threat intelligence reports. Note, this is not only a tool for blue teamers. This tool is also used for red teamers. If you haven't done so, navigate to the attack website. Direct your attention to the bottom of the page to view the attack matrix for enterprise. Across the top of the matrix, there are 14 categories. Each category contains the techniques and adversary could use to perform an attack. The categories cover the 7-stage cyber attack lifecycle created Lockheed Martin for the cybersecurity chain. So you go to the website, you're going to see something like this. Okay, so if we just go to it real quick, take a peek. All right, you got everything up here. You can go through and choose whichever criteria you want to take a look at, right, or whichever area you want to take a look at. So you want to take a look at the enterprise one, right, and you can see everything over here on the left side on this pane here: PRE, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Cloud, Network, Containers, etc., etc. Right, so you're going to see something like this once you start diving into this website here. So let's go back up here. All right, so it's going to look something similar to this, depending on the website, how it looks and such. But anyway, under initial access, there are 9 techniques. Some of the techniques have sub techniques such as phishing. So if you look at initial access, there are the 9 techniques there, right? So we go back up here and we take a look at yeah, initial access. So let's see here. Initial access, they have 10. See, they updated the site a little bit. So we have 10 here instead of 9, but you get the gist of it. Let's see here. If we click on the gray bar to the right, a new layer appears listing the sub techniques. So phishing, and then you have the different sub techniques of phishing. So if we want to do that, just go back over here, initial access, phishing. They got 4 in here. So you can either click into this or you can just use a sidebar, but you can see the sub techniques over here. So if we go back here and then click that bar there, you can see different ones here. All right. So to get a better understanding of this technique and its associated sub-techniques, click on phishing, which we just did. We have been directed to a page dedicated to the technique known as phishing and all related information regarding the technique, such as a brief description, procedure examples, and mitigations. Right, so you already saw me click into there, and we saw some information. So if we go back over there and want to click into phishing, you can see everything here. So sub-techniques, stuff like that. And you scroll down, you can see other more detailed information there. So let's flip back over here. You can alternatively resort to using the search feature to retrieve all associated information regarding a given technique, sub-technique, and/or group. Right, so if you want to use the search thing, just go over here, click in here, and just type it in. So phishing, right, and it's highlighting a lot of stuff that referencing phishing. So if we just go back into this technique here, now we're back where we're just in, right? So let's go back over here. Lastly, the same data can be viewed with the MITRE Attack Navigator. The Attack Navigator is designed to provide basic navigation and annotation of attack matrices, something that people are already doing today in um, tools like Excel. We've designed it to be simple and generic. You can use the Navigator to visualize your defensive coverage, your red/blue team, planning the frequency of detected techniques, or anything else you want to do. You can access the Navigator view when visiting a group or tool page. The Attack Navigator layers button will be available. All right, so they're looking at this particular one for Carbonac, it looks like here, and it's listing everything referencing that particular APT group. Okay, so let's get acquainted with this tool. Click here to view the Attack Navigator for Carbonac. So we're going to click in here. There we go. All right. At the top left, there are 3 controls: selection controls, layer controls, and technique controls. I encourage you to inspect all of these options under each control to get familiar with them. The question mark at the far right will provide additional information regarding the navigator. Go ahead, pause the video, and play around with it a little bit, and then come back to the video once you've looked around for it a little bit. We're going ahead and continue on here, but this is what they're talking about here. It's a little like toolbar looking thing. To summarize, we can use the attack matrix to map a threat group to their tactics and techniques. There are various methods. The search can be initiated. The questions below will help you become more familiar with attack. It is recommended to start answering the questions from the phishing page. Note that this link is for version 8 of the attack matrix. Okay, so if we're going to go back to this phishing page to answer these questions, apparently. But anyway, so pause the video, go ahead and try to answer these questions yourself, and then come back and we will continue on.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video.
Besides blue teamers, who else will use the attack matrix? Red teamers, purple teamers, SOC managers. Well, we know that's going to be the red teamers. You can take it. advantage of this as well. What is the ID for this technique? So they said phishing. So if we go back to the phishing page, we can see that ID is going to be this T1566. That should be what we're looking for here. So I'm going to copy and paste this over. Based on this technique, what mitigation covers identifying social engineering techniques? So if we go back to this page here and scroll down to mitigations, read through here, you can see that user training appears to be the one we're looking for here. So we're going to copy and paste this over. Okay. What are the data sources for detection formats? It's going to look like this: source 1, 2, 3, no spaces after the commas. So if we go back to here and looking at detection here and look for data sources. All right. So it's like application log, file, and network traffic is what they are referencing here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the stuff over like so. So application, comma, and then the next one was file, and then network traffic. So I'm gonna get this one in here like so. File, then network traffic. It did not copy correctly, so I had a period in there. That's why. Okay, network, then traffic. Okay. Which are the first two groups to have used spear phishing in their campaigns? So if we go back here and we can see here the first two groups they're talking about here is Axiom and then Gold Southfield. So copy and paste that over to get that. And the next one says based on the information for the first group, what are their associated groups? So if we go back and take a look here, and it says an overlap between Axiom and the Winty group. So let's go ahead and copy this information over. Associated groups. So there we go. Group 72 is what we're looking for here. So there we go here. What software associated with this group that lists phishing as a technique? All right, so if we go back over here, and if we go and take a look for phishing and software, okay. So we're taking a look at the software over here, right? And so you got to read through all this stuff here, apparently. Let's see. Let's just make this easier. Let's type in phishing. And there we go. So this should be what we're looking for here. Hikit. What is the description of for the software? So let's go back here and go and click into this. Hikit is malware that has been used by Axiom for late stage persistent exfiltration of initial compromise. So I wonder if that's what we're looking for here. So let's go ahead and copy this over. There we go. This group overlaps slightly with which other group? And if we go back, take a look at this group, see what they're talking about that. Right, Axiom and the Winty group. So they're probably looking for a Winty group. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this over. Oops. Yes. So it should be that one. And how many techniques are attributed to this group? So scroll down to techniques used, and there should be 15 listed here. So that should be our answer for that one. 15. Task number 4, CAR knowledge base. Cyber Analytics Repository. The official definition of CAR is the MITRE. Cyber Analytics Repository is a knowledge base of analytics developed by MITRE based on MITRE attack adversarial model. CAR defines a data model that is leveraged in its pseudocode representations, but also includes implementations directly targeted at specific tools. Examples are Splunk, EQL, and its analytics with respect to coverage. CAR is focused on providing a set of validated and well-explained analytics, in particular with regards to their operating theory and rationale. Instead of further attempting to explain what CAR is, let's dive in. With our newly acquired knowledge from the previous section, we should feel comfortable and understand the information that CAR is providing us. Let's begin our journey by reviewing this here, which is the CAR 2020-09-001 scheduled task file access. Upon visiting the page, we're given a brief description of the analytics and references to attack, technique, subtechnique, and tactic. So when you go to that page, it's going to look something like this, which we just saw, right? So we got similar information here. It says we're also provided with pseudocode and a query on how to search for this specific analytic within Splunk. A pseudocode is a plain human readable way to describe a set of instructions or algorithms that a program or system will perform. It looks something like this here. So Splunk search, Windows task, file creation, right? So basically it's help you along to searching your STEM tools and whatnot to find this particular activity. Note the reference to Sysmon. If you're not familiar with Sysmon, check out the Sysmon room. Take full advantage of CAR. We can view the full analytic list or CAR attack and Navigator layer to view all the analytics. So it's going to look something like this, full analytic list, right? In the full analytic list view, we can see what implementations are available for any given analytic at a single glance, along with what OS platform it applies to. So again, if we go to this Navigator here, it's just like what we saw earlier, right? So it's going to highlight those particular TTPs and such that are going to be in use by this particular area here, by this car. So let's go ahead and scroll back down. Let's look at another analytic to see a different implementation. So we can look at remote PowerShell sessions, right? So pretty much the same thing. Take a look at the pseudocode implementations, all the information in here. And it says under implementations, a pseudocode is provided and an EQL version of the pseudocode. EQL pronounced equal. I didn't know that, but equal. And it's an acronym for Event Query Language. Equal can be utilized to query, parse, and organize Sysmon event data. You can read more about this here, so check that out if you're interested. Equal native. So basically, we saw with the Splunk, it's going to have that pseudocode in here that you can use as a reference. To summarize, CAR is a great place for finding analytics that takes us further from or further than the mitigation and detection summaries in the attack framework. This tool is not a replacement for attack, but an added resource. Awesome. All right, so question time. Go ahead and pause the video, try to answer these questions, then come back to the video, and we will continue on. What tactic has an ID of TA003? So if we go back to the MITRE website, you can just go to the search function here, Control V. There we go. It's bringing up this tactic here. So persistence is what we're looking for here. So if we go back over here, plug that in there. What is the name of the library that is a collection of ZeekBro scripts? Now for this one, you have to go into this MITRE Cyber Analytics repository and go to the main page here. And then once you scroll all the way down here, you can just use Control F, type in Zeek like this. You can see it's referenced down here. So bizarre is what we're looking for here. So we'll copy that, plug it in here. What is the name of the technique for running executables with the same hash and different names? Now for this one, we have to go back to the list and we're going to use Control F again and then type in hash. So running executables with the same hash and different names, that's going to be masquerading. So Control C and paste this in here. There we go. And it says examine this car here. Besides implementations, what additional information is provided to analysts to ensure coverage for this technique? So we go back to this here, and we're going to search for that particular car. Select it, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it looks like unit test is what we're looking for here. So we're going to plug this in here. There we go. Now task number 5, we're going to talk about MITRE Engage. Per the website, MITRE Engage is a framework for planning and discussing adversary engagement operations that empowers you to engage your adversaries and achieve your cybersecurity goals. MITRE Engage is considered an adversary engagement approach. This is accomplished by the implementation of cyber denial and cyber deception. With cyber denial, we prevent the adversary's ability to conduct their operations, and with cyber deception, we intentionally plant artifacts to mislead the adversary. Sounds like a honey token or something like that. The Engage website provides a starter kit to get you started with the adversary engagement approach. The starter kit is a collection of white papers and PDFs explaining various checklists, methodologies, and processes to get you started. So check that out if you're interested. As with MITRE Attack, Engage has its own matrix below is the visual of the Engage matrix. So it looks something like this here. Looks pretty neat. Let's quickly explain each of the categories based on the information on the Engage website. Prepare the set of operational actions that will lead to your desired output. or outcome input. Expose adversaries when they trigger your deployed deception activities. Affect adversaries by performing actions that will have a negative impact on operations. Elicit information by observing the adversary and learn more about their modus operandi, their TTPs. Understand the outcomes of the operational actions output. Refer to the Engage handbook to learn more. You can interact with the Engage Matrix Explorer. We can filter by information from MITRE attack. Note that by default, the matrix focuses on operate, which entails expose, affect, and elicit. So if you go to that website, the Explorer, you're going to see something like this here. So if we want to open this up like so, let's see similar information. If this loads, let's flip back over real quick. Let's see. So they give you like a little video showcasing it here. It says you can click on prepare or understand if you wish to focus solely on that part of the matrix. So if we want to go ahead and click around on there, pretty much straightforward here. Okay, so it looks like the site loaded finally. So got it. All right, so if you want to click on prepare, there we go. All kinds of information there. Click around in here, play around with it. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. And it says that should be enough of an overview. We'll leave it to you to explore the resources provided to you on this website. Before moving on, let's practice using these resources by answering the questions below. All right, so go ahead and answer these questions below. Pause the video, come back, and we will continue on. Under prepare, what is the ID SAC0002? So if we go back to the Explorer here, prepare. Once you go through all these here, you'll come across this persona creation. It's the one we're looking for here, so SAC0002. The answer for that one, persona creation. What is the name of the resource to aid you with the engagement activity from the previous question? So if we go back to the site, you just go up here and search persona, hit enter, and then it'll come up with this here. This persona profile worksheet is what we are looking for this one here. Which engagement activity baits a specific response from the adversary? And I believe if we go to all tools here, well, actually, if we go back, let's go back again. Okay, and lives and operates. And if you go through here, you'll see expose, affect, and elicit, right? And you see under disrupt, you'll find lures. So you click on lures and read the definition here. Deceptive systems and artifacts intended to serve as decoys, breadcrumbs, or bait to elicit a specific response from the adversary. So lures is what we're looking for here. All right, what is the definition of a threat model? We're back in the Explorer, so we'll go back to prepare. We can go down to threat model, and there's the definition right there. So we're going to copy this over. Okay. Task number 6, MITRE defend. Defend. What is MITRE resource? Or what is this MITRE resource? Per Defend website, this resource is a knowledge graph of cybersecurity countermeasures. Defend is still in beta and is funded by the Cybersecurity Directorate of the NSA. Defend stands for Detection, Denial, Disruption Framework, Empowering Network Defense. At the time of writing, there are 408 artifacts in the Defend matrix. See the below image. So it's going to look something like this here. Okay. Let's take a quick look at one of the Defend artifacts, such as the decoy file, and this is information on it right there. So you can see all kinds of things where you can particularly use this in your environment. And it says, as you can see, you're provided with information on what this technique is, the definition, how this technique works, how it works, things to think about when implementing the technique, considerations, and how to utilize technique examples. Note, as with other MITRE resources, you can filter based on the attack matrix. Since this resource is in beta and will change significantly in future releases, we won't spend that much time on defend. The objective of this task is to make you aware of this MITRE resource, and hopefully you'll keep an eye on it as it matures in the future. We still encourage you to navigate the website a bit by answering the questions below. Once again, pause the video, check out the questions below, then come back to the video and we will continue on. Okay, let's take a look here. What is the first MITRE attack technique listed in the attack lookup dropdown? And if we go look around in here, you can see the attack lookup is here. So click in here, and the first one's going to be this data obfuscation. So this should be our answer here. Data obfuscation. Let's see. I think we need all of this. Yeah. If we don't. Data obfuscation. There we go. And the defend inferred relationships. What does the attack technique from this previous question produce? So we could go back in here and take a look at the defend inferred relationships here. Everything's pointing to outbound internet traffic here. So let's go ahead and copy this over. Right, and that should complete that task. Task number 7, attack emulation plans. If these tools provided to us by MITRE are not enough under MITRE Ingenuity, we have the adversary emulation library and attack emulation plans, CTID. MITRE formed an organization named the Center of Threat Informed Defense, CTID. This organization consists of various companies and vendors from around the globe. Their objective is to conduct research on cyber threats and their TTPs and share this research to improve cyber defense for all. Some of the companies and vendors who are participants of CTID are Attack IQ founder, Verizon, Microsoft founder, Red Canary founder, and Splunk. Per the website, together with participant organizations, we cultivate solutions for a safer world and advance threat-informed defense with open source software methodologies and frameworks. By expanding upon the MITRE attack knowledge base, our work expands the global understanding of cyber adversaries and their tradecraft with the public release of data sets critical to better understanding adversarial behavior and their movements. Attack emulation plans. The adversary emulation library is a public library making adversary emulation plans a free resource for blue/red teamers. The library and the emulations are a contribution from CTID. There are several attack emulation plans currently available, APT3, APT29, and FIN6. The emulation plans are a step-by-step guide on how to mimic the specific threat group. If any of the C-suite were to ask, how would we fare if APT29 hit us? This can easily be answered by referring to the results of the execution of the emulation plan. Review the emulation plan to answer the questions below. So go ahead and pause the video and try to answer these questions below, and then come back to the video, and we will continue on. In phase 1 of the APT3 emulation plan, what is listed first? So let's go ahead and check this out. And it says phase 1, okay, looks like C2 setup is what we are looking for here. So C2 setup. Under persistence, what binary was replaced with cmd.exe? All right, under emulation plan documents, let's check this out here. And as we're scrolling through, we'll see something in here called persistent. So click on that, and it says set hc.exe with cmd. So this should be what we are looking for here. Okay, let's go and plug this in. Examining APT29, what C2 frameworks are listed in scenario 1 infrastructure. So once again, click in here and look for C2 frameworks. All right, after looking around on this GitHub page here, you can just scroll down to table of contents and then go to scenario 1 infrastructure, and you can see what they're referencing here. So it looks like Metasploit framework is what they're needing for this. Oh, actually, I skipped one. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm tripping. So that's going to be the first one, or puppy, or however you pronounce this, is going to be the first one. So let's go and plug both of these in here. Okay, and should be framework. Okay, what C2 framework is listed in scenario 2? So once again, let's go back, scenario 2 infrastructure, and same thing, what C2 framework, Posh C2. This looks like what we're looking for here. Okay, and examine the emulation plan for Sandstorm. It says what web shell is used for scenario 1. Check MITRE attack for the software ID for the web shell. What is the ID? All right, so all I did was plug in sandworm up here. Okay, then on the left side, just click on sandworm emulation plan, and it said scenario one. Yeah, scenario one, and it says pass web shell, PS web shell. So let's go ahead and copy this, and then go back to the MITRE website. Pass web shell. Okay, and we're looking for an ID. Yeah, software ID. Okay, and this should be it here. Okay, yeah, so they want it like this. Okay, and then that should be it there. Task number 8, attack and threat intelligence. Threat intelligence, TI for short, or cyber threat intelligence, CTI for short, is the information or TTPs attributed to the adversary. By using threat intelligence as defenders, we can make better decisions regarding the defensive strategy. Large corporations might have an in-house team whose primary objective is to gather threat intelligence for other teams within the organization. Aside from using threat intel already readily available, some of this threat intel can be open source or through a subscription with a vendor such as CrowdStrike. In contrast, many defenders wear multiple hats, roles within some organizations, and they may need to take time from their other tasks to focus on threat intelligence. To cater to the latter, we'll work on a scenario using attack for threat intelligence. The goal of threat intelligence is to make the information actionable. Scenario: you are a security analyst who works in the aviation sector. Your organization is moving their infrastructure to the cloud. Your goal is to use the attack matrix to gather threat intelligence on APT groups who might target this particular sector and use techniques targeting your areas of concern. You are checking to see if there are any gaps in coverage. After selecting a group, look over the selected group's information and their tactics, techniques, etc. Okay, so more questions. Be sure to pause the video, go through these questions, and come back to the video, and we will continue on. What is a group that targets your sector who has been in operation since at least 2013? So if we go back to the MITRE attack website here, we're going to type in aviation to the search bar. And if we look through some of the results here, you can see some information here. And it says at least 2013, so this might be, we're looking for APT 33. Okay, so I'm going to plug this one in here. As your organization is migrating to the cloud, is there anything attributed to this APT group that you should be focused on? If so, what is it? So if it's going through here and you're talking about cloud stuff, so let's Control F again and cloud. Okay, well, there's cloud account, so maybe that's what they're looking for here. And just to cycle through here real quick, cloud storage. Okay, yeah, so cloud accounts looks like what they're looking for here. What tool is associated with the technique from the previous question? So let's go ahead. It says ruler in an attempt to gain control of endpoints. So it looks like what they're looking for here. So ruler. All right. Referring to the technique from question 2, what mitigation method suggests using SMS messages as an alternative for its implementation? Probably like multi-factor or something like that. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and click in here and mitigation. All right. Multi-factor authentication is what we're looking for here. Okay. What platforms does this technique from question number 2 affect? So if we go back in here and take a look again. So let's see. And let's Control F again. Platforms. All right, so this should be what we're looking for here. Okay. And task number 9, conclusion. In this room, we explored tools/resources that MITRE has provided to the security community. The room's goal was to expose you to these resources and give you a foundational knowledge of their uses. Many vendors of security products and security teams across the globe consider these contributions from MITRE invaluable in the day-to-day efforts to thwart evil. The more information we have as defenders, the better we are equipped to fight back. Some of you might be looking to transition to become SOC analysts, detection engineers, cyber threat analysts, etc. These tools/resources are a must to know. As mentioned before, though this is not only for defenders, as red teamers, these tools/resources are useful as well. Your objective is to mimic the adversary and attempt to bypass all of these controls in place within the environment. With these resources as the red teamer, you can effectively mimic a true adversary and communicate your findings to a common language that both sides can understand. In a nutshell, this is known as purple teaming. So you will come across MITRE at some point in your cybersecurity career. All right, we use it quite often. I've used it quite often in my career, as well as referencing other frameworks like NIST, other things out there like that. But MITRE is very popular and well known in the cybersecurity space. I recommend familiarizing yourself with the MITRE attack, how to properly utilize it to make your environment more secure, because you'll probably get asked this on like an interview or maybe even on an exam or something like that. Okay, so check out all this information here. So we went over basic stuff about MITRE, terminology, the framework itself, talk about CAR, MITRE engage, MITRE defend, emulation plans, attack and threat intelligence. And like it says here, not only can the blue team use it, but the red team can use it as well to mimic an adversary out there to see if the organization is vulnerable or susceptible to those types of TTPs by that particular threat actor. That is it for this room. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time I post a video to the channel. As always, thank you all for taking time to watch the video. Have a nice day, and I will see you later.